Hi, I'm Cassie, and this is Josh, and this is our little boy Harley. And for the past 5 years, we've been living in Brisbane, Australia. And probably for most of that time, we've been craving something more, craving the open road and the great outdoors. So after years of dreaming, we decided to buy a caravan and go and explore our own backyard. This is our story. Subscribe and tune in every week to see what we get up to. So we're moving sites today because the park is so full, so we have to move from site 8 over to site 77, which I'm actually excited about because even though site 8 is beautiful and right across from the water, great view, it's so noisy because, believe it or not, Palm Cove is so busy right now. Josh isn't feeling the best this morning. Hashtag not CB, but we gotta pack all this up and take it over to our other site. So we moved sites and now we're off to Caravan. So it was right about now that things started to get a little shaky. We'd packed up our entire life, cleaned our rental, renovated a caravan, and rushed through saying goodbye to friends and family before starting a new position. Adjusting to life on the road and to one income, as well as learning to cope with being in each other's pockets and a tiny space, all started to take its toll. I still can't grasp the fact that you want to be mine. I thought it was about time that I told you, whoever's tuning in, to watch what has actually been going on for me and Josh over the past couple of weeks, couple of months even. Towards the end of our time in Brisbane, we were just getting really fed up, feeling burnout, and just not really living our best lives in the concrete jungle. And that's one of the main reasons why we decided to buy a caravan and get out and see the open road. Now, unfortunately, as you've seen, we haven't had the best run with weather or with things breaking or leaking or whatever. And I guess that is always the way with an old caravan. You never know what you're going to get. And unfortunately for us, we didn't have the financial means to buy something brand new and make it our own and change it to our own style. So that was just life. But we still wanted to experience it. Just because you don't have all the money in the world doesn't mean that you shouldn't take the leap on some of the things that you want to try, or you'll never do anything. And I'm a firm believer of you're never going to be fully ready for anything. So you may as well just take the leap. And sometimes that works for me and sometimes it doesn't. We bought our caravan, and for me, I think I had this image in my head of this perfect van life aesthetic, and it definitely did not shape up to be like that. And I am a real sensitive person. I deal with a lot of sensory overload with things like smells, noises, things like that. So for me, something that I found a big thing to struggle with was the smell of the old van. On top of that, just the weather, the leaking, and not knowing if there was mold building up in between the walls, and like Josh's asthma was really bad, and I just felt like the air quality was something to worry about. So Josh started his new role and I basically became a dog mum, which was amazing, but I definitely underestimated the effect that the loss of my independence would have on me. So I didn't have a car, I didn't have a job, and I didn't have any way of getting off the Palm Cove Esplanade because I had Harley with me, so I couldn't catch a bus anywhere. So I definitely struggled with that isolation and not having a routine of working and having my own income. So with everything that's been going on, the renovations, the stress of moving, the stress of rushing, of having an old caravan that one thing after another just, kept getting in the way of us enjoying ourselves, not having enough money from only one income, catching on bills, being isolated, it's like add whatever else you want to that mix. And me and Josh started to get on each other's nerves. And, I was basically depresso lady sometimes due to the rain and the weather and the isolation. And he would come home after just doing like 11, 12-hour days and we would just clash. So you might notice I'm in a room. I actually decided to make the really hard decision of taking some time apart. And I think there's definitely a stigma attached to this of if you take time apart, it's the beginning of the end. But it's been just over 3 weeks now, and my dad, bless his cotton socks, came and picked me up from Townsville, and me and Josh said our goodbyes, and Harley came with me, and we weren't even sure if we were going to stay together. We postponed our wedding. We were like, no, we tried and we failed, and now we're miserable. But then we realised that we just needed some space. I needed to earn money again, and so I got a job down here. I'm staying with my dad on the Sunshine Coast, just for a couple of months to earn some money and reassess why we wanted to do this in the first place, and that possibly it's not for everyone. If you don't have the money to buy something brand new or to buy an old caravan and just gut it and do it up from basically ground zero, there are some challenges which I definitely knew were coming, but I did not expect how difficult I was going to find the transition from having my own home to having a tiny home, which I have wanted for so long. But I just kind of realised that it was more the area of Brisbane that I was struggling with, and the concrete jungle kind of aspect. I want a vegetable garden and chickens, and to be close to nature as much as possible and be able to walk Harley there every day. And so basically what we're doing now is taking this time to reassess what it is that we actually want, realise what we were taking for granted, and I definitely have had some big lessons out of this experience over the last couple of months come my way, but it's been amazing. I wouldn't change this because just the new dynamic and the shift that we're experiencing in just how we are speaking to each other and how we are looking forward instead of back now is amazing. So like I said, there's a stigma attached to space, but it's not always a bad thing, and sometimes just taking a breather, taking a step back is what you need. So basically I'm down here for a couple of months working on the Sunshine Coast, staying with my dad and his wife, seeing my family, catching up with my friends, and Josh is up in Cairns finalising his work commitments, and then we're going to reunite hopefully in about 4 weeks. So fingers crossed that all can still go ahead, and we're just going to save as much money as possible and make our way down south, possibly work along the way, and then maybe look at finding a place to settle down and then using our caravan on the weekends. Then we can take the time that is needed to fully get our caravan to where we want it, and who knows what the future holds. So thank you so much for tuning in, for sticking around, for being patient with the caravan travels coming your way, but sometimes life throws you a curveball that you don't expect. And I personally think that our relationship and how long we've been together for 5 years, and just all that we have learnt about each other, learnt about ourselves is not worth throwing away. So thank you so much for tuning in, for sticking around, and for following along on our journey. And stay tuned, because it doesn't end here. We definitely have so many more adventures coming, but we just need to take a breather and focus on our relationship, and we'll be back bringing you more amazing content as soon as we can.